Welcome back to another episode of the Align for Success podcast. This is Deborah Deras, your hostess with the mostest, here on another motivational Manifestation Monday to help you to align for success. And what does it mean to align for success? It means that your inner work and your inner world practices creates the outer success that you see in your life. Everybody looks outside and they say, oh, look at that person, they have this, or look at this person, they have that. And they don't realize all of the inner work that goes into it. And on the Align for Success podcast, I share with you my mentors, people that have inspired me, people that I look up to that have success from the inside out so that they can share their strategies, their practices, their rituals so that you can create success with ease and with grace. And for those of you that don't know who I am, even though I'm your friend on Facebook and YouTube, I am an international speaker, author, and marketing consultant. I like to say I'm a Zoom room speaker in 2020, but I'm going to go back on the road because I am vaccinated, everyone. It's very exciting. Cannot wait to start traveling again. And today you are in for a treat because speaking of travel, I have a very special guest that I'm about to introduce to you. But before I do, I want to let you know that everyone listening that wants to be in more alignment, you can download my free video on how to align for success by getting out of that ego mind. You know what I always say? Your ego is not your amigo. And it will talk you out of that new business idea. It'll talk you out of your soul's contract. It'll talk you out of living the life of your dreams. Why? Because it wants you to stay stuck. It wants you to stay in your comfort zone, but not here on the Align for Success podcast. So you can download for free my video on alignment, 4 steps to align your mind for success, right at deborahderas.com. That is DeborahDeras.com. Download it. You'll also be on my newsletter list, get invitations to fun events, webinars, and also live. We're going to be in person. So, you know, I have a saying here on the podcast, and that is sharing is caring. If you are listening to this live, which I know you are, if you're listening on the replay, I invite you to share this out to your network, to share it out on your social media, because my mentor, whose time is priceless, okay, you're going to want to listen to him. You're going to want to be here, and I'm going to introduce you to him, and his name is Mr. Charles Black III. And early on in his real estate career, he had a realization. Luxury real estate is as much about people as it is about property. It's an understanding that has served him well over the years. And at some level, Charles says, people know what they want, even if they can't voice it, even though they may not conceive it clearly. For me, it's all about pairing individuals and families with something close to the idea or conception they have in their head. And the only way you can do that is by listening to people. Oh, he's so wise, just in his introduction, right? Listening to people, really hearing them and understanding what's important to them. Charles started off his career in luxury hotels and now is in luxury real estate. And we met when he was chairman of the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce. And I was working on marketing. He is my mentor. He's a fantastic friend. And here he is on the podcast, Mr. Charles Black III.
Thank you. Thank you, Deborah.
The crowd goes wild.
It's like, who's she talking about? I didn't do all that.
Yes, and so much more. One of the things I didn't say, which I will tell you, I love this opportunity for this podcast because it's a place for me to publicly thank my mentors to the masses. And you have always been such an inspiration to me. You still are. Your presence, your positive attitude, your positive energy. And it's just so refreshing. And I'm like, you're not from California, are you? So tell them, before we get into all of your career and mindset and morning practices, who is Charles Black III and what makes you such a positive person?
Well, I will say, I'm going to say a little secret that there are times that when I'm not in a positive mindset, one of the things I do, and if you actually look back on these phone calls, you might realize it now, but one of the things I do is I call you. And I've had those situations because seriously, every single time I call you, the energy that you radiate, the positivity and all that, it's mind blowing how you always see the glass half full. So first off, that's one of my secrets. Number two, so now you know going forward when Charles is calling, he needs some positivity. So thank you for that. And then as far as go ahead. Okay.
I was saying, my pleasure. I remember both of us were having plumbing issues at the same time. It was during quarantine. We're like, what is going on? The whole house is going to fall apart right when we're like in a pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they haven't ended. We just had plumbing issues 2 days ago, but we're getting it fixed. So
good.
But so your question again, going back to that, was how do I maintain positivity, or?
And well, even more than that is, who are you, Charles Black III? And I had the honor and pleasure of meeting your parents, and it tells a lot about the person by the amazing conversation I had with your dad. But who are you, and what is your driving force that allows you to be out in the world fearlessly?
Interesting. Okay, got the question. And I say interesting because part of what does drive me is fear. So it's being fearless, but when I had to sign on this evening and it asked to put your name, I put, Charles L. Black III. And on my Instagram, it's Charles Black III. And everything that you'll see about me, even my credit cards. I just opened a new corporate bank account at Bank of America, and I'm livid because they put Charles L. Black and they left the third out. And I'm just like, that's not me. You might as well put it to John Smith. But my point is I'm extremely proud of where I came from, extremely proud of Charles Black Sr., of my father, and to a point where my wife Mele, when we were dating, I think it was probably our first date, I said, listen, if things go well and we ended up, going on further dates and then we get married and then we have a kid, can we name, if we have a boy, the first son Charles, Lester Black IV? And she didn't hesitate. She didn't do anything like that. And the fact that she said, sure, I was like, all right, she's a keeper.
You already knew she was the one right from the beginning.
We both did. That is definitely a fact. And so, as far as, who I am, my grandfather was a Baptist. He's a general surgeon, as is my father is a general surgeon. He just retired. But he's also a missionary. And so he traveled all over the world and provide service. And a lot of the trips he would take were to Mexico. And we'd go in this caravan of campers, and they had this camper that was outfitted to be a medical room. So they actually, where we would sleep and drive to Ixtapa, I think it was, Mexico, we would also, they would perform surgeries in that. They would convert it. Yeah, so you'd have hooks where the IVs were and things like that. Then years later, they found a facility that would allow them to do the operations there. So like a lot of cleft palates, a lot of I remember burn victims. I remember watching an operation with someone who had their arm was burned, and they just kind of made incisions to make it easier for them to move their arm. And then later they opened a hospital, they raised money, and they named it Clínica Louisiane, the Charles Black Hospital. And then I think for the nurses' dormitory, they named it after my grandmother, which was Mercedes Black. And so, with that, they've always been, about helping others, about providing service. And so that's something that's definitely in my DNA. And I was talking to you earlier about that, is that even though I was in, hospitality and real estate, I always am aiming to please and aiming to provide service. And so I think that comes really back from, as far as my grandfather and who he was.
I love that. And I think that's the undertone that when I met you that I appreciate, because we were both being of service to the Beverly Hills Chamber. And when I was a professor and I was literally teaching human services for 16 years, a lot of the students were going to be social workers and counselors. They thought you could either be of service or be abundant. they did not have the belief or the mindset that you could do both. And that's what I appreciate about you as my mentor, because I have the belief that it is not an or, it is an and, that you can be abundant and you can also be of service. In fact, you might be able to be of higher service because of all the philanthropic efforts that you can do. And that's something that just pours out of you, that service element. And that came from your dad.
Yeah, and my grandfather. And it's just something that, it just anytime I do something, whether it's, work related or all whatever the objective is, there just seems to be a way to tie it in with service and helping others. And that's why, I'm in the Rotary Club of Beverly Hills. We had a community service committee that I was responsible for 1 year. And it was so easy to make a difference. And we selected one charity per month that we would provide physical service for, meaning we didn't just write a check, but we went there at like Project Angel Food and we prepared meals, or at Tree People on Mulholland, where we would help clear the trails and things like that. So, and it's fun. But that feeling that you get when it's over, like anytime somebody would volunteer for the first time, they like wanted to support the organization or do it more. So it's neat to see the way that how contagious it is.
Yes, service is its own reward, and it literally serves you. At Agape, every year we would do this Sacred Service Saturday, and each group would adopt an organization, and we'd go there to wherever we were, thinking we were helping them, but they were healing us by showing, just to be grateful and thankful each and every moment for all of the blessings we have and not take things for granted. And I know in many of our conversations at the Gratitude Cafe or wherever we were, you would talk about how you have daily practices around gratitude. Can you talk about that?
I can. I will say, though, before I do that, is that I have some weird obsessions. And one of those is that I can't do anything without tracking it.
I knew it. Yes.
What, in an app? Yeah. And so, my wife laughs at me. Anyone that looks at my iPhone laughs at me because
you track your water. Do you track your food? Do you track your exercise? I track my steps. I track everything.
Everything.
You taught me what gets measured gets done, right?
Exactly.
You said that to me.
100%. So for my morning routine, and I haven't been doing it, I'm a real creature of habit, but I haven't been doing this lately. In the fall, I was doing it quite a bit, especially as I was preparing for this transition, and the transition in my life being a pretty big one. It was, and I should say the date. So
yes,
maybe 3 months ago, I'm just funny because I'm looking on the wall. I've got a affirmation on my wall that I look at every day that talks about these goals, but there's such a long story to it. I'm going to see if I can distill it somewhat, abbreviate it somewhat. So back in like the years, January 29 of 2019, and I'm looking at this little piece of paper. I'll show you what I'm looking at. This is so that I wrote that by this date, I will have earned a minimum of blank dollars. I enjoy earning this amount as a result of giving the most efficient service of which I'm capable, rendering the fullest possible quantity and the best possible quality of the service in the capacity of luxury real estate advisor. This is an irrevocable contract that I make with myself. Then I sign it. And then I had this guy who was in this class with me. And this class is called Ninja Selling. So people in real estate will know it's called Ninja Selling. And so the guy who was, and he was a guy that I made go to this class. I said, go to this class. I promise you it's going to be worth the money and it will, return itself tenfold. So he goes to class, and then he was sitting next to me and said, hey, will you sign as, my witness for this? So he signed it. You see his name right there. And then, so that's 2019. And then April 30th of this year, which was Friday, he and I made the formal announcement to go into partnership together as, real estate agents and as a team. And so what's so crazy though, is that he was my witness back then when I was kind of creating this concept or idea.
Oh, wow. And now he's your business partner.
Yes, exactly. And he even, he sent me a card recently for the holidays, and it was just like saying, you're like such a, special gift that was sent to me and all this. I'm like, nice. And I get it. Cause we'd spending more time together.
Right.
But then when I came and I cleaned out my office from the physical office to my home office where I've been working for the last year, I found a holiday card that he had sent me in just around that same time. So it was probably December of 2018. And it said, I feel like you're a gift sent from an angel, like sent you to me. And so I look at that, and I was like, crap. I was like,
oh my God, you're gonna make me cry.
I was like, 2 years ago, he's sending me these notes about it. So it's just really, it's bizarre the way that things have aligned, the way the stars have aligned,
right?
And then how this worked out. And then what happened was we said, when we finally decided, let's do this partnership thing a few months ago, and we selected dates, I looked on the calendar and there were things that were going on. And I think it made sense to do it like April 23rd, but my wife's birthday was April 22nd. And I said, when I quit my management job, I want to have at least 1 week where I can kind of chill out, do something special on her birthday, because I'd normally not take the day off just for her birthday.
Right.
And so let's do it the following Friday, which is April 30th. And April 30th, coincidentally, is my 11th year in sobriety. And
oh my God! Wow.
Yeah. So my sobriety date, my sobriety birthday is on April 30th. And so it's just kind of funny how all these things, kind of fell on each other. And then on top of that, I got a text from my mom that my father was also being recognized on April 30th for providing 50 years of service in the medical community or industry. So April 30th was a very, very special day for reasons.
Well, congratulations on sobriety. Congratulations on, I don't know if people know what a big deal your taking this leap is, because we haven't talked a lot about your background, like at the montage and all the travel. I think let's back up for a moment and let them, because I think a lot of people, Charles, this is how you're going to liberate and set other people free, because oftentimes people have visions and they have big dreams and they write it down, but that fear voice will stop them from taking the leap that you just took. So let's back up to, a little bit about your career and what led up to you having the courage to face that fear and do it anyway.
Yeah. So, and then going back into, like, not to get too trippy, but to talk about manifesting and things like
our favorite subject.
Even Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, like, for me, are very special places. And I don't know why, but I feel like I was supposed to be here.
Right.
And sometimes I joke that, when God, said, all right, this kid's about to be born, put him in LA, they put me in Louisiana, which is, and they put me in the wrong LA. Because literally, the day I moved, I landed in Los Angeles. I was like, I'm supposed to be here. And I remember going from the airport to Montage, Beverly Hills, where I was going to live for until I found a place, and seeing the Beverly Hills signs. And I just had goosebumps. And I just felt like from day one, I felt like I'm supposed to be here. It was the coolest feeling ever, because I'd moved from Miami, and, Miami's great, but I just never felt like I was supposed to be there. Right.
Right.
I love the place. I had great experiences, but when I left, I was leaving. Backtrack before I made the decision to come to Los Angeles. I was dating a girl, and we had both always just kind of popped, like wherever the business took us, we would go. And at that time I was in Miami and she was in New York. We had a long distance relationship. Right. And we both decided that we loved LA, and we said, let's stop, just letting the, career take us where it wants to. Let's, make the decision. So we said, well, LA is a great place. Let's, make that happen.
Right.
So then in October of 2010, I had to go on a business trip to Los Angeles, and she was actually representing Montage Hotels in PR, and connected me with some of the people there, and had me invited me to the opening launch of Scarpetta Restaurant. Oh. And at the time, I was staying at the L'Hermitage Hotel during my visit. And so that day before the event, I'm walking down Rodeo Drive wearing, jeans and a baseball cap. And then I see this guy coming towards me, and it's Herman Elger, who was the general manager of Montage Beverly Hills at that time, but he and I worked for Ritz-Carlton for many years. And so, we literally just walk into each other. And so
alignment, right place, right time.
Yeah. I was like, listen, I'm going to be at the event tonight. Look forward to seeing you. And so met a lot of the key executives, And we had talked, about maybe one day working for Montage, but after the event that night and I met everyone, I went back to the hotel and I put in a Google alert for Montage Beverly Hills. And my goal was I decided I'm not just moving to LA, I'm moving to LA to work for Montage Beverly Hills. It was like I made that commitment.
Declaration.
Yeah, exactly. And it was not going to be, I didn't expect it to happen overnight. I thought in my head, like maybe a year or so. There's always turnover with sales directors. But in the meantime, I'll learn as much as I can about the company, and I will be persistent until the opportunity is there. Right. And so within 10 days, a Google alert pops up that says Director of Sales and Marketing for Montage Beverly Hills available.
Oh my God, get chills.
Yeah. So now we're talking. So the launch of Scarpetta was in the month of October, if I'm not mistaken. Then, had the holidays for Thanksgiving. Then I had to be in France, the south of France, in December for an international conference for Cap Juluca in Anguilla was the company I was working for at the time. And then while I was there, they had me meet with some of the people that are involved in Montage. So I had some more meetings. But they had already flew me there to interview, and then had these other meetings in Cannes. And then they offered me the job. And January 8th of 2011, I was on the plane and heading to Beverly Hills.
And it's not like before you were in Beverly Hills, you were suffering. Like, weren't you working in Trinidad and all these Caribbean islands?
Yeah, I did a lot of time in the Caribbean. So the last one was Cap Juluca, which is in Anguilla. So I had a home office and I'd go back and forth. Before that, I was like a regional sales director for new development real estate. So it was basically luxury resorts that had a residential component. And so the projects we had were Fairmont Anguilla, Raffles Tortola, Raffles St. Lucia, and Mandarin Oriental St. Kitts. All like phenomenal luxury properties. And so in our company, we had 2 private jets. It was just stupid travel, stupid entertaining. And then August of 2008, boom, everything vanished.
Oh, yes.
All the projects disappeared. And but one of the projects, Fairmont Anguilla, which never happened, never came to fruition. I was still traveling to the island quite a bit. And by coincidence, their director of sales had left or whatever. And a gentleman by the name of Hans Meissen was the acting managing director at the time. Back in the year 1999, he was the managing director of the Windsor Court Hotel in New Orleans, where I was working as a sales manager. And so we started having conversations, and he recruited me. And basically after, losing my job, maybe I was out of work for 2 weeks, I got a new job. And so became director of sales and marketing for that hotel. But the most important lesson I learned from that experience, and I speak at Beverly Hills High School every year at Career Day, and I always tell this to the students, is when you are in a job negotiation for your salary, always ask for more, and do it in a very polite and humble way. But I have a whole approach to it, because if you do it the right way, all they can say is, the most we're prepared to pay is this.
Right. And then you have room to negotiate down. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So for this property, Cap Juluca, they made an offer that was better than what I was making in my job that I just got let go of. Keep in mind, I didn't have any other prospects. There was nothing else. Like, I needed this job.
Right.
And I said, you know what? That's very nice. It's a very generous offer. I go, if you could make it this, and I think it was maybe $10,000 more, maybe 12. Right. I said, if you can make it this, then we can wrap this up today. And so they basically said, we'll make it that. And it was done. And I was like, oh, thank God. But my point is that when it does come to, and that's what people want. They want to hire someone who's assertive, who's not afraid to ask for things. But yes, that's what took me there.
But I love, success leaves clues. I told you guys success leaves clues, because I'm listening not only to what you say, but the undertone of what you're saying. Because for people listening, they may be thinking, oh, well, it sounds like he's a lucky guy. But what they don't know, that I do know, is that you are constantly, like me, pouring in positive, educational, personal development and professional development into your consciousness. You are not allowing anything in that's even lack or limitation. That's why when you write something down or you make a commitment to yourself, you literally cut off any other possibilities, because your consciousness is so full of possibility. Because what you're reading, what you're listening to with the podcast, can you talk about that? Because I think that's really important. There's no such thing as luck. I don't believe in luck. When people say, oh, you're so lucky, I'm like, no, it's energetic intention and dedication to spiritual growth.
Yeah. And I think there's also something to be said about fear. And that means, like, for every great job that I've had, and when I say a great job, I mean a job that I couldn't sleep because I was so excited about the possibility of getting that job. But at the same time, I was terrified because I thought it was way out of my league. And
Right.
can I do it? And there's that doubt. And every great job I've had that feeling. And if I don't have that feeling, and trust me, it's not a comfortable feeling. You don't sleep at night when you have it. But if I don't have that feeling, it's not worth going after.
It's not big enough.
No. So for example, the real estate thing, going from, I joke in my old job, before April 30th, that I close escrow every other Friday. And when I say that, I mean, because real estate agents, they close escrow, maybe one this month, maybe one 3 months from now, some do it a lot more.
Right.
But they get paid when they close escrow.
Right. Which could be quarterly, right?
Yeah. So for me in my job, I was getting paid every other Friday. That's just the way my agreement is. And when you're a W-2 employee, that's the way it works. My entire life, since my first job out of college, I've been paid every 2 weeks.
Wow.
Right. So going from that to a job where I'm going to be purely commission based, obviously there's some strategy to it. You have to make sure that you're not doing something stupid, and you have a pipeline and you see the vision. And then you have those conversations. And one was with my wife, and I made it very formal. We were in the dining room and I sat down with her, and I was expecting this really long, drawn out conversation. And I was like, I'm thinking of resigning and becoming a full-time agent. She's like, I think you should. And she
that's why she's wife material. She believes in you.
Yeah. She went on to doing something else. I was like, hang on a second. I go, do you understand what I just said? She's like, yeah, you'll be fine. And I'm like, and I couldn't comprehend it because she just had so much belief in me, definitely more so than I have. And even now, and even my partner will tell me, like, calm down. It's like, Charles, we're doing very well. This is normal. It's happening. So you can relax just a little bit. But as far as what drives me, and keep in mind, Deborah, I will tell you, I'm the king of going off on tangents. So always reel me back in.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'll say the things that drive me the most are going to be fear. So fear of not being able to provide for my family, not being able to provide, what they need to be, being comfortable is one thing. And then dreams and goals. And that's, my bucket list. And that's the thing, that's the experiences that I want to have with my family. And that's what drives me as well.
Right. To be able to have that. Wow. That is so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, even Hilton and Highland, I switched from luxury hotels to this luxury boutique real estate brokerage. I think they do more per, agent for one single office than any other brokerage in the world. I mean, it's just amazing. The Playboy Mansion, a lot of $100 million sales. And again, I wasn't confident that I could do the job. One, because I didn't know what the job was. Two, it was a complete, there's some parallels to the hospitality industry and markets and things like that. A lot more zeros in real estate than in hotels when it comes to P&Ls and things like that. Right. But I didn't know if I could do it. But I was sick thinking about how much I wanted that job, and did everything in my power to get those jobs so that if I didn't get them, I'd have no regrets.
I love it. Yeah. The entrepreneur world, it's a wild, wild world. I quit my job in 1999 and got married at the same time. I remember telling my husband, I'm like, by the way, I just quit my job, the government job. And he was like, good for you, babe. And I was like, oh, sweetheart, so nice. And then everything, 2008. Crash,
Wow.
But it was okay. But one of the things that I'm sure people are curious about is, what is the amount of energy and time you spend in developing your positive mindset? Because I know when it comes to sales, I'm sure they talk about that in ninja sales. It's like 80, I don't know what percent of it is mindset.
Yeah.
But so what is your morning routine like, and how much time are you reading? And do you even watch television, or do you just television of your own mind?
Yeah. So the ninja selling, to your point, is a 3-day, what they call installation. Day one is purely mindset.
Oh, really? Oh my God, I would love it.
Oh, you would. I mean, it is phenomenal. I mean, I tell people I'm such a fan of it. I say, listen, I don't care if you're in real estate or not, do this because this is the way that you should do your business. So day one is mindset. And then day 2 and 3 are kind of strategies to approaching your business, which is an approach I like. And it's just basically the approach is be around as many people as you can on a regular basis, talk to as many people as you can, and don't talk about real estate.
Wow, that's interesting.
Exactly. So, and most of them will say that, like, end every sentence with, oh, by the way, if you know anyone looking to buy or sell, please send them my name or whatever. And you want, with this program, it's all about the other person. It's really about what's important for them. And they train you on the Ford technique of asking questions, FORD, which is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Yeah. And agents who are getting nervous about making their calls are nervous because they are focusing on themselves. When you focus on the other person and what can you do to provide service to that person or be of service to that person, that's the goal of ninja selling. And as a result of that, the deals and the transactions come to you. Because, and it always happens. You'll say, what are you up to? What's your business? How's it going? And then they turn the table and, what are you doing? How's the market? And so it always comes, but you don't come across as leading with real estate. And if it doesn't come up, you don't come up. But the goal is, and with Ninja, the thing I like about it is that you really, the goal is when they hang up, it should be like, Deborah should be like, you know what, I'm really glad Charles called me. And I do feel like that when I call you, it's usually there's a need, and it's usually to calm my fears and anxieties or whatever. I need that charge of positivity. But I always hope, I'm thinking about you as well, and how you're doing and all.
I love it. So people are like, I want to go to that program. People are like, what program is this? Ninja Sales, everyone. Sky says she loves your vulnerability, your honest vulnerability. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I will say, though, on that note, so what do? It's like, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with learning. I'm obsessed with reading. I'm obsessed with becoming a better person. I'm obsessed with becoming a better father. I'm obsessed with becoming a better husband. I'm obsessed with all those things of self-improvement. And so if you look at my books, my Apple books, the books that they are all of those things. And I was just talking to Deborah. The most recent ones are Earthing, which is about, it's so ridiculous. When you look at like my most recent books, I don't know if you can see this, but it's Earthing.
I bet you were reading all the same books.
Yeah, Success Through a Positive Mental Attitude. It's like a Napoleon Hill one.
Classic.
Yeah, absolute classic. And then Old Path, White Clouds. That's about Buddhism. Ayurveda, and all those kind of things.
What is the Ayurveda book?
So the one that I want to buy, the one that it's on the Apple bookstore is not that I want to get. The one that I want to get is on Amazon. It's called Everyday Ayurveda, Daily Habits That Can Change Your Life in a Day. And it's by Dr. Baswati Bhattacharya. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, she is like all about taking care of her patients, which is why she could care less that it's not on Apple Books and it's not an audiobook version.
Right.
She wrote her book, and she's kind of like, here are my words. If you want it, buy it, but I've got stuff to do. So I'm going to buy this one.
Love it. Love it. And so when you get up in the morning and you start your day, what is the first thing that you do, or the first thing that you think, or the first thing that you embody?
So because this is a podcast, I'm going to say stuff that makes me sound awesome and focused.
Yes.
But I will say,
so authentic. I told you.
There are a lot of times the first thing is the snooze button.
Yeah, right.
And I'll tell you, I'll talk about that honestly, is that there was a time, so March 8th of 2020, so 2020, March 8th was the LA Marathon. And I spent, maybe like 7 or 8 months preparing for the LA Marathon on March 8th, and I ran it. And I was at maybe 164 pounds, so probably the lowest I'd weighed in a long time. And I was just religious about getting up at 5 a.m. and running and doing all the things I needed to do. And COVID hit. You can't.
I was
run.
cheering for that marathon. I didn't know you were running. That was my last day before lockdown that I was out with people. I'm like, it's kind of weird that there's a pandemic and everyone's running. I thought it was weird.
But it was. But just so you know, in the Ninja selling installation in 2019, they had us do a bucket list, and one of those was a marathon. And so it was just kind of neat to see the things on my bucket list that happened. But because I also focused on that, it was in my affirmations. I will run a marathon. And I've got now this, look at this, my man, Tony Sargent. Oh.
You are awesome and focused, Charles. Thank you for sharing so authentically.
What a nice surprise to see that. Because I don't really see any of these messages, but they pop up every once in a while. So it's kind of nice to see some. Where was I going with that? The marathon.
You were saying your bucket list.
So what happened was I did the marathon, COVID hits. I didn't shave for like a month. I got like a really thick beard, and then I gained the COVID-19.
Oh, you too?
Yeah, I did like quickly. And then, I couldn't get my act together. And I bought this app. I would have the mindset of I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get up, I'm going to run, and the alarm would go off. And I'm telling, like, this went for like months, I feel like every day I was that sold on the fact that I will do it tomorrow, and I wouldn't. So then I got this app, which, if I can't do something, there's probably an app that can help me. Right. And the app would make me find a pit. Like I'd get a drawing of my sons, and I'd put it downstairs in the family room. And then I'd have to go down in the family room the night before and take a picture of that, with my camera, picture of that drawing. And then the next morning, this crazy alarm goes off, and it won't go off until you get out of bed and go downstairs and take a picture of that drawing. So do you follow me?
No.
So this app will go. So I'm in my bed upstairs. The alarm goes off. Normally I can just press snooze. This app won't let you turn it off until you
go downstairs.
Go downstairs.
So you have to look at your side.
I have to find that picture, then take a picture of it. Then the camera certifies that it's the same image from the night before, and then the alarm goes off. But you have to sprint.
Oh, wow. So by then you're awake.
Yeah, exactly.
You're aware, you're aligned, you're ready.
Yeah. So you go through those things, and I think it's partly of like maybe not knowing, at that time I was trying to figure out what am I doing in my current job? Why am I not motivated to get up, much less to do my job, or much less to run. And then
your soul knew there was something bigger, something greater.
Exactly. And so now though, when I have my routine, and I'll go through this. Now, this is for the podcast, we can cut that previous 10 minutes and just act like this is what I do every day. But I will tell you this, when I do this, I have
my audio editors on your Sky. Okay, remember, cut that, right?
Yeah, Charles does this every single morning. But you always hear these people when they talk on these podcasts, and they're like, this is my morning routine. And my assumption is that they do this every morning, like it's impossible. So I do want to preface with that. When I do this, my days are great. And even if it's something just as simple as running, and that was the thing I had to kind of figure out, is when I get up and run, I feel so much better about the rest of the day. But this is, I'm going to say in true Charles Black fashion, for those of you that know me, not only does it have each step of my morning routine, in parentheses, it has the amount of time that it should take me to do it. So I can.
Too. Me too. It has the minutes, even breakdown. 7:02, 7:22.
So this is so the morning question is, what good shall I do this day? And let me actually preface this by saying that everything in my morning routine comes from a combination of Benjamin Franklin. And if you want to see something really cool, look up Benjamin Franklin's daily agenda.
Oh, okay.
And his daily agenda will say something like, first question is, what good shall I do this day? Mm-hmm. Then it'll go into work, and then it'll talk about get his affairs in order, break for lunch, maybe do some reading. But it's, as old as it is, it's as relevant today as it was back then. But it's really amazing. It's definitely 100% something you have to look up. And that's where I got this one from. And then morning meditation, 20 minutes, morning prayer, 2 minutes. Then my gratitudes, I do 3. So I do something big that I'm grateful for, something small, and then an experience. And the experience can be something like
that's new. We haven't heard that before.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like right now I'd say I'm grateful that I have a home office with blue skies and green trees outside. Just something simple like that, or something that you notice that maybe you take for granted. And then I do my my MBA. You like this one, Deborah?
Ooh, tell me.
My MBA is my mind-body audit.
Oh, yes, that's good.
And that just means, did I meditate the day before? Did I eat healthy? And did I exercise? And the reason I created that one was because I go through these slumps and I just wanted to say, do I do it or not? Positive reading. So I'll find something to do that takes about.
Do you ever ask, did I do it or not, and why?
What's that?
Do you ever think of asking, and why, if you didn't do it? Like, why?
Yeah. And usually it's either I feel like I have too much on my plate and I need to push all that stuff aside. Sometimes it's, it's being lazy, but usually it's because I think I have too much on my plate, which reminds me of an awesome quote by the Dalai Lama. Someone asked the Dalai Lama, you meditate, an hour every day. And he's like, yes, but you have a very, very busy schedule. So if your schedule is like where you start the morning and you're just nonstop until 11, what do? And he goes, then I meditate for 2 hours.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Thich Nhat Hanh says, if you go within, you never go without. And if you take 1 hour out of your day, the other 23 hours will be more focused and more productive. My why I don't do things was not sleeping well. Yeah. And I ended up on quarantine getting worse and worse with my sleeping. I ended up getting some like this CBD gel that or with a little THC. I don't know what's in it, but I sleep now. I wake up, really? I'm like, oh my God, I actually feel like I slept. Like I can fall asleep now with the light on. Before I couldn't fall asleep, I'd have earplugs, I'd have face masks, I'd have ocean sounds, I'd have this, still could not sleep. My mind would look at the jail, boom, I'm sleeping.
All right,
so
I'm going to follow up on that. And that's part of it. The book Earthing I read because again, I just feel like a lot of times I'll sleep 8 hours, but I just still feel tired during the day. Yeah. So then positive reading, and with positive reading, a lot of times I'll pull, there are a couple of apps that'll have motivational quotes and readings, whether it's The Secret or there's one called the 5-Minute Journal that's got some great quotes. And then what is it? The Daily Stoic is one of my new ones that I've been reading daily, which is phenomenal. So just 5 minutes of that. Affirmations and visualizations, that takes 2 minutes. So I wanted to say, so the structure of this goes from Ben Franklin to Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Right. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Oh,
you like her? She's in their level? I didn't know that. Okay.
You know what? She is. All of these people are completely different, but she just, I like her delivery. And then Ninja Selling by Larry Kendall. And then last but not least is Getting Things Done by David Allen. So when I finish my morning routine at the end starts to get very tactical, and it's like, it removes the anxiety of, who's been texting me, who's been emailing me, what's on my to-do list and all that. And then there are things on there as well, the vision board. But one is writing my goal 25 times per day. That takes 7 minutes, but writing whatever the goal is, and whether it's a financial goal or if it's, I'm strong, I'm a runner and I will run the marathon on March 8th, 2020, whatever it was, doing that 25 times every single day. Reviewing my life list. And so the life list is something that I compile, as I come across things that I want to do, experience, or do with my family, I add to it. And it could be as simple as a splurge for myself. And it could be that I never even buy it, but it's at least there. It makes me feel good. But one of those is the new Roomba mop that you can
that cleans the floor for you.
Well, I got the Roomba vacuum cleaner, but the mop does it with.
I didn't know there was a mop.
Yeah, there's a mop.
Oh, shoot.
So we'll see. I don't know if I'll get it, but it is there for what it's worth. The personal goals, like the Pasadena half marathon, was on my life list, and I finished that. There are a lot of trips I've planned with my family that will be on that. So, and then I start going into any really detail about, actually, I should say, write 2 personal notes per day. So that's about giving out positivity and energy and, love to the universe. That was through Ninja Selling. And I asked her, I said, are we supposed to write 2 notes to people that we think we will transact with in real estate? And she said, no. She goes, just think of it as sending love to the universe.
I love that.
It is. And so people that do it really well will do, like, they'll be at a restaurant and the server's great. And they see the server's name is Melissa. Right. And then they find the address of the restaurant. They write a note to Melissa and just say, hey, just want to know how much your service meant to us at dinner last night. And there was one that they talked about, the lady that takes care of the Todoist is the app that I like to use for a to-do list. It's Todoist, Todoist. But I do hear Asana. A lot of people like Asana as well.
I love that. My abundance coach has said to me, he said, get envelopes and put a $5 bill and just randomly give it to people like throughout the day, like just little $5 everywhere.
I think that's mainly it. I mean, when it goes to David Allen getting things done, is that his whole thing is about clarifying. You do, yeah. So it's clarifying. So it's clarify your desk, clarify your voicemail, clarify your text messages, your to-do list, and then your email. And that just means, like, review them, make sure that there's nothing that's out there. Deborah knows I haven't been well about this lately because I've been taking like 2 days to respond to all of her text messages. But the reality is that I have to have that checklist of things to check up on. Sometimes LinkedIn is in there if I want to really stay on top of those messages. But if it's not important for me right now, then I have to just put that aside because there's that communication overload right now.
Yes, because you just made one of the biggest decisions of your life to step out and literally be on your own and to invest in yourself and to believe in yourself and to trust in yourself and all of these practices. I love that you do visualization. I realized that was missing. When you talked about fear, like the opposite of visualization is being in worry. It's like the reverse law of attraction. It's like, let me focus on all the things that could go wrong. And I was like, Deborah, you need to visualize all the things that you want to go right today, the flow, the ease, and the grace. And I love that you set yourself up, the systems, the apps, the timing. What I love about what you do is you don't just tell yourself, do all these things. Your apps and the way you create your life, it supports it. So you're setting yourself up for success rather than sabotaging yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing is no matter what it is that I do, I want to make sure that I never have to think about it, that it needs to be automated. And what that means is, I'll just tell you, a perfect example is people that create a business plan every year. They do a business plan, then they put it up on the shelf and they never execute. So when I do a business plan, after I do it, then I create tasks. Some of them are recurring tasks. Some of them are dates in the future. And it could be as simple as on the quarterly basis, read the entire business plan and then pivot, make changes, what worked, what didn't. But I think if I do that with everything in my life and in business, then I don't have to worry about if I'm going to forget it, because I've got these crazy systems that I've made that make sure they don't fall through the cracks.
Love it. I love
it. It's not for everyone.
No. Yes. And you basically take what you like and leave the rest, right? You create your own discipline. The reason I have all of my mentors on here is so that you can see what will work for you. You don't have to do every single thing. And you really have to create it for yourself. So, oh my God, this time flew so fast. I have like 25,000 more questions for you, but guess what? We'll just have you back. You'll be a regular special guest co-host, maybe once in a while on the Align for Success podcast, because I know you have so much more to share, and you're going to have a lot more to share on all the manifestations from your new venture. So how can we support you with your new luxury real estate venture? Where can we stay in contact with you, connect with you? I know everybody is going to follow you for sure on Instagram, Charles Black.
Yeah. And then email is great, charlesblack@compass.com. And then the way you can support me the best is just like positive thoughts, positive energy, like send them my way. And that's it.
I
That's the
love
Deborah Deras way, right?
Oh, I always send you positive energy, your whole family. And when I see Melly on Instagram Live, I'm like, yes, I love it. I'm so proud of her. Awesome. Yes. So we'll all send you, let's just do it right now. Let's just take a moment, because what you give away, you get to keep. So everyone, if you have your hands up, if you're not driving, just pour your energy and your attention on Charles. Just bless his new venture, knowing that he is always in the right place in the right time with the right people, that he allows his natural gift for being of service, for helping people to achieve their goals. And it's just so natural. It's just so effortless. And all of his visions are coming true. Now, if you're with me, say, and so it is. Synergize, baby. We did it.
You're so awesome, Deborah. Thank you so much for having me. It really means more to me than you know, and just a real pleasure to be a part of this. So thank you.
Always. There's no accidents that we came together, and we are going to. I'm one of those people that will be a lifelong friend. Like, I'm still friends with my boss from 1999 when we both quit our jobs together. She quit too. She went into real estate selling in Manhattan Beach. Because when I had a day job, I ended up doing marketing and starting a business within the government. So it's like, I do not belong here. And people were getting mad at me because I was not a cubicle chick. And they're like, you're never in the office. I don't need to be. So thank you so much. And thanks to all of you. You got all these fans. Everyone's asking questions. People are saying thank you. People are clapping for you. Everybody loves you. So make sure that you follow Charles. Make sure that you're continuing to send him positive energy. And thank you so much, all of you, for being here for another episode of the Align for Success podcast. I am Deborah Deras. We are here each and every Monday, 6:15 Pacific, 9:15 Eastern. And you too can join us, ask your questions, and recommend guests. We're going to have some amazing people coming up in the next couple of weeks. Some people that you may know that performed with Prince are going to be here coming up in the next few weeks. You know Prince, Super Bowl. Yeah, you'll see coming up in a few weeks. And I want to say thank you so much for, if you love this podcast, writing a 5-star review on iTunes. Really appreciate that. I truly believe that sharing is caring. So the more that you get this out into the world, what would the world be like if everyone was aligned for success? If instead of having a job, they had a joy. Instead of waking up in the morning saying, oh God, they woke up in the morning, oh God, I get to be of service. Just like Charles said, we can ask ourselves those positive questions. How can we serve today? How can we make a difference today? Not just to talk, but to talk, to listen, to really serve. There were so many amazing gems. Let's bring Charles back up. Let's give him a round of applause. Everybody go crazy. Yes. Thank you so much. We so appreciate you. And hopefully you'll come back to the show.
Anytime.
Thank you. So thanks, everyone. And we'll see you next time. And remember, with the power of synergy, anything is possible. Ciao. Bye, Francia. Bye, Sky. Bye, Becky. Bye, Britt. Bye, everyone. Nice to see you, Sky. Great to have you. Bye, Christina. Ciao.